Hi, everybody. This is Manoj Ramnani, your host for the Pipeline Pioneer, a SalesIntel show where our focus is to help the community generate the most optimal pipeline. During this, we bring the experts on the show, we bring the experts, the practitioners, the leaders, so that the community can learn from their experiences and their know hows. As we know, pipeline is the heart and blood of any company. And generating pipeline is a team sport. That's what we call it sales intel, because it's not just the responsibility of a BDR organization or the marketing team. It truly takes a village to build a pipeline that converts to revenue. Today, I am excited to have Jared from RevGenius with us. Welcome to the show, Jared.
Hey Manoj, so nice to be here, and we've known each other for a few years, so it's great. It's great to be able to connect here.
Yeah, same. Thank you so much for joining in. You have wealth of information in the B2B space, in the pipeline generation space. So I'm excited about this show. I'm sure the community is going to get a ton out of it. So to kick this thing off, Jared, why don't you tell the community about yourself and how, in your role, you help your company generate the pipeline?
Yeah, great question. So you'll empathize with this as founder. It is our complete role to generate pipeline. But RevGenius community of 45,000 sales, marketing, RevOps, CS professionals. Mission is to build trusted spaces for curious revenue leaders who are collaborating on the future of B2B go-to-market. So our core business model, or our number one business model, sponsorships, it is my job to build pipeline. So I literally am sales. So I'm meeting with, closing the deals, bringing it to the pipeline. How is it coming in? Um, until the down market, it was pretty much all inbound with some phenomenal logos. The down market, the last 12 months or 18 months or however many it is, you're probably just as numb as I am, Anush.
Yeah.
Um, Quite a few. Recalibrated to doing outbound and really or adding outbound, still have um, quite a bit of inbound, but for us to grow and all of this, we had to add that, and I am the point person with that. So really all around,
Every
I
founder's hidden title is sales revenue pipeline, right? So you're no different.
I was gonna add three more titles because like we're now in this creator world, and I know like you're very in tune with that, especially since your recent hire, Jason, who's really good at that and like really networked, I should say, as well. Um, Also title ambassador because now we're in 2024. Just doing outbound, just doing inbound is not enough. Doing it good is not enough. It's great, pat your back. More people do it bad than good, but you need to build content. And as a founder, you have a really unique opportunity because assuming people are buying your product and they've heard of you, you kind of have this natural subject matter expertness built in because you're literally living it, and you have like this cred because you started this phenomenal data company or this big community, and people are much more so you need to use that um to build pipeline, right? So three other titles I want to add. Shout out Morgan Ingram, who we unpacked this with. One, ambassador.
You
So you don't just need to bring on ambassadors. I believe that you need to bring on ambassadors. You need to be the ambassador. Two, influencer. You see me on social, like you as a founder, you have to be the influencer. Like the title or not, learn to like it. Do it. And then three, subject matter experts. So like whether it's yourself talking about why data hygiene is important for outbound systems, or how your data could help build intent, being super thoughtful for people in market. That's big. Or our community, like how we could help folks drive demand. It's important that I say that. But also the subject matter side, but also influencers just like, hey, let's
And I
create
think they are
buzz.
all kind of related, right? You have to be a subject matter expert in order to influence or be the ambassador.
So yes. So subject matter experts, like you could so ambassadors tend to be like the newest, and that's just like shouting from the rooftops, use sales intel, and you need some of that. And as a founder, you need some of that, right? Like, hey, use sales intel. Influencer are folks that have been around a while, and but they might share content from the subject matter expert, like sales intel's report said this or that, and then the subject matter expert creates the content. So you're creating the content, you're sharing the content, and you're saying use sales intel or come to RevGenius. um Different people at different times, but yeah, yeah, the subject matter expert doesn't necessarily have a big following, is the nuance there. But as a founder, you could build up all three.
All three of them. That's great. That's awesome. So, Jared, last year was hard, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of companies, not enough pipeline. The pipeline were there, didn't convert into revenue. As a result, lots of companies missed their targets, and we all made lots of mistakes, right? If you were to look back and say, you know what, I wish I had done this thing differently, right? What would that be? And what is the learning that you can share with the community?
Yeah, I believe the biggest thing is I think we brought on a salesperson before, probably a little early. And this is the big thing, because I had said like we had gotten a lot of inbound in prior. So like essentially brought somebody in to help create the outbound process, when in reality I probably should have taken the first go at it and built something repeatable before putting somebody in. Um, Sponsorships in particular, again, our number one generating revenue business model, is something that is is slightly different than software, and it's way more nuanced and way more consultative even, and creating specialized programs for people. So to expect somebody to come in that hasn't sold sponsorships before and to build out the outbound function isn't easy, and shouldn't be looked at as something that's gonna work fast. And so I had the mismatched expectations there. Um, I should have built it out as I'm doing now. Yeah, and that would have been easier. And I think the reason why, um, we kept pushing towards it, I actually found kind of like a plug and play, somebody who had that experience and accepted the offer to come on, and then withdrew that acceptance. So it planted a seed that like, oh, I got to find somebody now. It probably would have worked with that one person who's literally a plug and play, who like did this before. To pivot from that to not pivot my strategy. Looking back, I want to use the word irresponsible, but like everyone makes this type
Look,
of
we all
error.
make
Like
mistakes.
irresponsible is being way too hard on myself. Like
Yeah,
it just wasn't effective.
yeah.
I think that's
Hindsight is
probably
always 2020, and hiring, we as CEOs, as founders, if we can get hiring 50% of the time right, I think we are doing very well, right?
yeah.
So that's great. And not only we as founders made mistakes, I think everybody in the industry overhired in for the GTM, because the years prior to that we had so much of tailwinds. Hey, you hire for the capacity and the revenue will come. And all of a sudden, with the macroeconomic headwinds, the trains just stopped. Right? Cool. So great learning. New year, new budgets, new initiatives.
Yeah.
What is one new experiment that you are excited about for 2024, Jared?
So what's really cool, and you probably already saw this on LinkedIn. We launched the next campaign, which we're ready to have it be like an ongoing campaign. What next is, what next means. Essentially, what we realized is on social media and in community, there's a few levels of people that are super active and lean in. You have like your influencers, the name people that you have, and then you have people that are trying to get there. And what I realized was the people that have helped build RevGenius. When I say help build RevGenius, like responsible the most for engagement and driving referrals and stuff aren't necessarily the people that everybody knows. They've been in RevGenius, but they aren't necessarily the most active because they have other things. Um, their time is spent a million places and certainly not focused. But it's the person that's the hungriest and the most active is also the person like on social is also the person that helped build RevGenius up. Um, these hungry people that like people catch wind of them and but they aren't given everything and they're active and they're leaning in and Jason Hassenberg is a great example of this. He's so amazing. And he fits in this like little niche. So I'm like, why don't we create a whole campaign around just the next people? Because how cool is that? Like these are the emerging like we could actually like literally see people that are doing the actions to potentially be that influencer and some of them will be, some of them will be pretty close, but they'll all make progress. And so we focused on that persona. Then we also teamed that with founders that are in that stage. So we did that. We made the list super diverse and everything. And the reason why we launched it on social as well as in Slack, because community transcends platform. Yes, we're in Slack, but like let's be real. Our people are just as active, if not more, on LinkedIn in particular. So like why don't we be active in both places and build ambassadors and everything? So moving from and make that list super diverse and super cool and lift people up that frankly even without us a lot of them would hit it anyway. So it was like real easy to pick like who for us because we've seen it dozens of times who had a great chance to be next. And then the startup founder as well, like a Series A or younger company. Because I noticed, like, who are the founders that are the most active on social? Is it Mark Benehoff or is it the Hockey Stack founders? Duh, Audience Plus founders, right? Like, Letter Drop. You probably have a dozen off the tip of your head. You're like, oh my god, Warmly, like, oh my gosh, all of this. Yes, you're right. Like these are the most interesting founders that are so loud because they have to be resourceful and all of this. And I'm like, they also kind of have like really cool companies that are disruptive that you haven't seen a million times. So I'm like, okay, so the next one, let's do the next 50, this startup founder. And then um, so now we're figuring out how to like bring this to revenue, right? As well. Cause like just having something really cool um is wonderful if you don't have burn happening in all of this. So, we spoke offline about launching demo days and like the ability to focus, give these folks opportunities to present in front of senior leaders and stuff and have it be a paid thing, but give extra value. And also, not to mention this next 50 list is free to be a part of. So like have gotten a ton of value. So we're in the process of doing like micro recalibrations along the way, versus massive ones, which tells me we're on the right path, and that's exciting because you're always going to have micro things that you need to change and adjust and micro pivots. Um, no massive ones are needed, and so that's a really cool experiment. And in the process, what's cool is the trickle down is the amount of impressions on social media that this is going to give. Oh my gosh, like Will that generate demand? I would make a bet that yes, it would. There is no chance it'll generate less demand,
Yeah,
and for our products and stuff. So it's a really exciting experiment. That's what I used to call like commercial altruism,
yeah,
because it's like it's very altruistic, but there is a for-profit mindset behind it at the same point, and it feels really good. If
that's
that makes
awesome. So
Yep.
Jared, let's switch the gears and let's look at the screen. We're gonna play an interactive game where, as we all know, growth comes from different channels, pipeline
Mhm.
comes from different channels. Here, you have 100 pennies, and your goal is to distribute these pennies, make the right bets across all these channels with the objective to generate the most optimal pipeline for RevGenius this year, right?
Mhm.
So, how would you spend your 100 pennies across all these different channels?
Community, customer, brand, founder.
All
My
right,
my product is community, so it's kind of like cheating for me.
let's do it. Like, how many pennies will you put on community?
Um, I have at least half on community.
Wow, wow, that's really really focused, right? So that's
Mhm.
50 pennies. You have 100 pennies to generate the pipeline this
We put
year.
that, and then a founder-led growth. Like, who cares? Like, I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't need pennies on it. That's founders don't need to. I like and customer. Like, let's put brand and customer.
Okay. So you want to distribute here equally, like 20 on the brand and 20 on
Yeah.
customers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a founder that's going to be doing all of this anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
putting my time in
it's the
in
resources. When you say 100 pennies, these are your resources. Where would you put your resources? You are a resource for the company as well. So if you are out there, right, you're putting your resources out with the
Yeah,
founder-led
I would
growth.
take an extra penny from community and give it to myself. And
Okay.
then because I feel confident, founder led growth, I'm doing sales, I'm helping uh and take one from community and put it on marketing.
All right. So 30 pennies on 30 pennies on communities, 20 on each founder, brand, and customer, and 10 on marketing, right?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, our community, keep in mind, for anyone watching, throws 100 events a year as is. So me investing in community is investing in that already. I look at event-led growth as investing in other events like SaaStr and stuff, and our community is no cost.
Mhm.
So for me to put money in a paid other event um, is, forget the waste of money. It's a waste of time, which is worth more than money. Partnership led growth that happens naturally in a community, happens naturally when you're fostering community. I do no focus on partnership led growth, yet I probably have so many partners knocking on my door. Product led growth, it's a cheat code. We don't need to because our community is our product.
Yep.
Um, no for sales led growth because our founders are seller.
Yeah.
So I bet on myself. Uh, Brand led growth and community is also marketing. So marketing through there. Customer led customers are so important. So we're putting extra focus on driving successful customer outcomes so that we could hit renewals and get referrals, and that's really really important. So the net new stuff this year, thinking through it, the customer led growth is probably I know this is a game splitting pennies, but like unpacking it a bit, for a team of 7, customer led growth is probably where we've spent the most time optimizing and improving year over year. And founder. I mean, I try to improve myself.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I hope
So,
that helps understand where my head's at.
yeah, absolutely. So now let's take a look at the community as a whole. Now I've surveyed hundreds of GTM leaders and practitioners and experts, and have so many of them come on this show. And when you take those averages, this is how the community has decided to spend their 100 pennies. Let me overlay your data on top of it, right? So blue color indicates the community, and Jared, you is
Nice.
orange, right? When you look at this comparison, is there something that jumps out and surprises you to say, you know what, I didn't think this would be the case?
Well, I mean, it depends on the size of companies and the founder's role in sales, because sales and the money that comes with that is the lifeblood of a company. So you'd expect that. Me betting on myself is like me betting on sales led as well. So founder led to me is also sales led.
Sales led, right?
So I'm a unique situation.
That makes sense. Well, Jared, thank you so much for participating in this. I know the community is going to get a lot of value from your insights. We really appreciate you joining the show.
I hope you dug it. I hope you saw how excited I am for this year's recalibrations as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.